make sure you are on a clean sheet of paper in your math notebook. This is the third thing we are going to do in this chapter, so please write 3 and multiply decimals, because that's what we are going to be focused on today. Don't forget your date. If you would like, you can sure add your name on the paper. That way when you hand them in, if like one of your papers gets misplaced, we know whose it is, but you absolutely don't have to if you plan to staple these all together. All right, so here's our example. Nina is buying peanuts in bulk. The peanuts cost 75 cents for each pound. She purchased 2.1 pounds of peanuts. How much will Nina pay? Round to the nearest cent. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that 75 cents times 2.1. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do this normally. Remember, I know I said round to the nearest. Sorry, it's focusing. There we go. Round to the nearest, but that doesn't mean that we're going to estimate right now. Okay? So we're just going to find the regular amount. So both of these have decimals in them. Unlike when we did addition and subtraction, we do not need to line up our decimals. So I'm actually just going to do this as if it was 75 times 21. Okay? So remember, just pretend for a second that your decimals are not even there. Okay? So 5 times 1 is going to give me 5. 1 times 7 is going to give me 7. 1 times 0 is going to give me 0. Don't have to put that, but you sure can if it makes sense to you. Remember that when I do double digit by double digit, I have to multiply my 1 by everything first, and then my 2 by everything second. Okay? And don't forget to drop your egg or your 0 when you're doing double digit decimals, or double digit multiplication, excuse me. So 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. 2 times 7 is going to give me 14. Plus 1 is going to give me 15. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 is going to give me 1. Now I'm just going to add these together. Okay? So 5 plus 0 is going to give me 5. 7 plus 0 is going to give me 7. 5 plus 0 is going to give me 5. And 1 plus nothing is going to give me 1. Again, sorry, it's focusing. So I ended up with 1575. Now we're going to add in our decimals. Remember, we've been talking about how I need to pay attention to how many decimals I have in my problem. Okay? So in this one right here, I have 2 numbers behind the decimal. In this one, I have 1 number behind the decimal. 2 plus 1 is going to give me 3 total numbers that I need in my answer behind my decimal point. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3. So I have 1.575. If I'm rounding this to the nearest cent, I'm going to go ahead and do $1 and about 58 cents. We don't go to 3 when we're doing cents, so that wouldn't make sense to add a number behind that. My 7 is next to that 5, which the 5 would make it round up. Okay? All right. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you. Let's go ahead and try another one. DeMarcus is buying a new guitar pick that costs 50 cents. The sales tax is found by multiplying the cost of the guitar pick by 0.06. Okay? So, what is the cost of the sales tax for the pick? So we're going to go ahead and we are just going to multiply these two together. Okay? Again, don't have to line up our decimals, but how this worked out is the decimals do line up in this scenario. Okay? They won't always, just like they didn't in this one, no big deal. Okay? We don't have to line up our decimals in multiplication of decimals. Okay? All right. So, when I'm doing 3-digit by 3-digit, because there are so many zeros in this, what I can do is I can do 6 times everything, and then I'm not going to do my zeros time anything because that would be pointless because it would just be 0. Okay? So 6 times 0 is going to give me 0. 6 times 5 is going to give me 30. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 3 is going to give me 3. Okay? Then, of course, I'm going to add my 2 zeros that I would have multiplied but didn't, because otherwise I would just get 0. Okay? So that is the only reason I added those 2 zeros. Okay? Now we need to figure out how many decimal points we need to put, or how many numbers we need to put behind our decimal point in our answer. Okay? So let's count how many are in this one. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 plus 2 is going to give me 4. I sure hope you can do that simple math. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have 0.0300. That is going to be my total so far. So I can drop off these zeros if I'm talking about cents. So it is 3 cents. I don't need these extra 2 zeros because that's just extras we don't need. All right. Let's go ahead and try a few more. Let's do 0.6 times 0.8. 6 times 8 is going to give me 48. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is going to give me 4. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and add a 0. I'm not going to do 0 times everything because that would be 0. Okay? Now, I preemptively did this. Sorry about that. But if I count, I've got 1 decimal point here, 1 here. 1 plus 1 is going to give me 2. So I should have 2 numbers behind my decimal, or behind my decimal point. All right, next one. Like I said, this is pretty much what we did yesterday with our multiplying by whole numbers. We just have 2 decimals this time instead of just 1. Okay? All right. Let's do 1.7 times 2.4. Again, it will not always work out that the decimals are lined up, but sometimes it does. All right. 7 times 4 is going to give me 28. 4 times 1 is going to give me 4, plus 2 is going to give me 6. Now this one, because we have a 2 and not a 0 over here, I am going to multiply that 2 by everything. Don't forget your 0 though. 2 times 7 is going to give me 14. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So now I'm going to add these together. Remember, just act like this is a normal multiplication problem until we get to this point. Now that we've got it all the way to here, we're going to go ahead and we are going to add our decimal point in. So count how many are here. We've got 1. Here we have 1 as well. 1 plus 1 is going to give me 2. So I need 1, 2. So it should be 4.08. Boom. Hopefully you are getting this and it's pretty simple for you so far. If not, that's okay. Hopefully you'll get it by the end of this. All right, let's do one more problem together and then I'll have you do practice problems on your own. 0.9 maybe times 3.8. All right. 9 times 8 is going to give me 72. 8 times 0 is 0. Plus 7 is going to give me 7. 3 times 9 is going to give me 27. Sorry, forgot for a second. And then 3 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is going to give me 2. So I ended up with 342. Okay? Now I need to add in my decimals. So I have 1, 1, it's going to give me 2, 1, 2. So my answer should have been 3.42. Alright, I'm going to give you a few practice problems. And you need to show Mrs. Jenkins before you can move on to your homework. Okay, the first problem. Please make sure you write practice with 2 exclamation points. That'll be your test to see if you're listening today. Otherwise, I will count it as wrong. Let's go ahead and do 0.35 times 0.15. The second one is going to be 1.6 times 3.2. And the last one is going to be 5.6 times 3.9. There is a hair in my thing. Okay. Make sure you write that practice with 2 exclamation points. Make sure you get your answers. When you do, please raise your hand quietly. Mrs. Jenkins will come over to you and check it.